Hey, it's Lewis Michael. Thanks for listening. Are you a creator that would like to reach out to our fans with a custom ad? As a comic book artist and podcaster myself, Geeking Around Podcast is here to help other creators advertise their projects. Not only will you get a audio and video ad, you will get a social media ad campaign as well. Click on the Fiverr Fiverr link in the description. Start advertising today. Hello, this is Lewis Michael.
And this is Gabrielle Christensen, your co-host.
And welcome to the podcast. Hey everyone, this is Lewis Michael, come to you with another Geeking Around Light video. If you're new, please like and subscribe for more videos. Gabby couldn't be here today, but she will be back for our next video for the podcast, which we will be doing Star Wars Visions. Make sure to check that one out, and that will be out on the 6th. We do the Geeking Around Light on the 20th, and Geeking Around main podcast on the 6th of each month. Make sure to check out the links in the description for more stuff. We got the online clothing store where you can get the Geeking Around t-shirts and other stuff. Also check out the Geeking Around the webcomic, and as well as my Star Wars fan comic, Kira, a Star Wars story, and you can find those in the description too. First, we're gonna talk about Doom Director making some comics about the MCU movies, and then at the end I'm gonna do a recap of the Apple event. So kind of doing something a little bit different. This was some cool stuff there, so I figure people, if they don't want to listen to the Apple thing, they don't have to watch the whole video, but I think our fans will more enjoy the MCU thing more than the Apple event. But I want to talk about the Apple event, so let's get into it. Doom director Denis Levy, I think that's how you pronounce it, said that the MCU movies are nothing more but cut and paste blockbusters. Now, I am a huge fan of the director, and not as much as I'm not the biggest Marvel fans, both the movies and the comics. There's some of, I like a lot of the movies, but I just want to make that clear. Yeah, I actually agree with him. This thing is, I think, is going way overblown, and people not really taking it seriously what he's saying, or misunderstanding what he's really saying about it. But I actually agree, a lot of the MCU movies are just copy and paste, and to be fair, that is a lot of like comic books are anyways. So a comic book movie probably gonna be the exact same thing, you know. I think this is part of the reason why like manga and anime doing so well, is because people are just tired of the old comic book stories that we keep being told over and over again. But yeah, he's not the false director say some, like Martin Scorsese has said multiple times about it, and I think Martin Scorsese kind of have a little bit more negative comment than what Denis does. And I think he's kind of more bent on about how like his movies are being overshadowed by these big blockbuster superhero movies. My opinion on that in general is that when I go to the movies, I want something big and, visually stunning and striking, whatever. I want that experiences. And you know, like Endgame, like Infinity War and Endgame was some of the best experience at the movie theater I have ever experienced, you know. And same with like with Star Wars. I got to watch Return of the Jedi when I was like 7 years old. It was like right before the prequels came out and they was re-released, the originals. I think that's like the special edition ones where like it ended up being where the whole Han shot false thing came into play, I think. But yeah, I got to watch Return of the Jedi, and that was one of the best experience I ever had at the movies, because Star Wars has always been this big, you know, blockbuster thing. And to me, those type of movies are what make going to the movies worthwhile. Where like Martin Scorsese stuff, I love Martin Scorsese movies and a huge fan of all his movies, and have not watched a movie of his that I didn't like, but they just not the type of movies that I'm gonna pay a whole bunch of money to go see at the movie theaters on this giant ass screen, where I could just watch it on Netflix or whatever, HBO Max, and I have a pretty decent size TV that's like 4K or whatever. I don't know what exactly is, and HD and stuff, and has this really awesome sound bar to kind of give it that surround sound like at the movie. So I just prefer to watching it there, you know. And then, like, to me, like romance movies, comedies, I mean, especially comedies, I rather just watch that on Netflix and stuff. I mean, to me, it's pointless to go to the movies to watch that. And scary movies, I kind of would rather like go to the drive-ins, you know, have one of those double features and watch, you know, 2 scary movies in a row like they used to do all the time, like at midnight and stuff. We used to, when I was a kid, we go to this drive-in that was like in the middle of nowhere. It's in Illinois, and it's like more southern Illinois, so it's nothing but like either farmland or woods. And this one was surrounded by these creepy looking woods and cornfields. So like either someone in a mask with a chainsaw gonna come out of the woods, or some little creepy little kid from Children of the Corn is gonna come out of the cornfield while you're watching them at this drive-in. Sadly, it shut down because the drive-ins are just not as popular anymore, and that really sucks. And I know a lot of people try to raise money to get it back up, but I watched a lot of great scary movies there as a kid. One that sticks out in my mind is Jeepers Creepers. So yeah, to me, like the Star Wars movies, the superhero movies, you know, sci-fi like Dune, and fantasy movies like that, with what was that one, The Green Knight. Like, yeah, it wasn't like a huge action-packed movie, but it had these excellent cinematography and visually striking scenes and stuff. Like, those are the best, and had a great soundtrack and stuff. And so those are the best to see at the movies. And here it said, to be fair to Vanel, we're gonna call him just Dennis. To be fair to Dennis, he seemed to have a little bit of perspective that some other filmmakers lack. So he's saying that there are just too many Marvel movies are nothing more than just cut and paste of others. How this person was reading is more a critique of the Marvel method that has been discussed for making crowd-pleasing blockbusters than of superhero movies or even Marvel movies as a whole. Now, this original comment by Dennis actually was in a Spanish or something that's not English, another foreign language that could easily has been translated wrong to English, and people are misunderstanding what he was saying. But like I said, I agree with him. Shang-Chi I think that's how you pronounce that. Did really great at the box office, and congratulations to them for doing that. A lot of people didn't think they was going to do all that great at the box office, but ended up doing really well. And I have heard that it was a nice, good martial art movie, so I just didn't get a chance to go and see it. But I did hear the only negative thing I heard about that movie is that it is pretty much like any other Marvel movie, and we have heard reports many a times throughout the years about how Marvel, Disney and stuff has a certain set of rules or a guideline that directors have to go by when making a Marvel movie. And James Gunn a couple months ago has said something very similar to that, where he actually had more creative freedom with working with DC and Warner Bros. Than he did with Marvel and Disney because of the corporate stuff. It does seem a lot like that Marvel is pretty much a design by committee kind of thing. And you have like Kevin Feige and then all the Disney executives, saying this is what it needs to do, this what you gotta do. It sounds a lot like how, like, if you're a graphic designer that gets contracted to work at a company, they will give you this booklet called like the design guide, where it lists out all the things, the do's and don'ts the graphic designer can do with the brand. Like, it says like, oh, you can only use these certain colors, you can only use these certain fonts, and this and that and that and this, and that's what it sounds like Marvel is. That as long as you stay within that guideline, you do good. And I think that's what happened with Scott Derrickson, who was the original director of Doctor Strange. It seems like they do give the directors, now that I'm thinking about it, looking back, it does seem like they give directors a little bit more freedom in the first movie. Then the next movie, they kind of don't. It seems like they, I don't know. Now, like I said, now looking back, it sounds like that, because Scott Derrickson seemed like he had a lot of freedom on the first film, but then when they went to go start shooting the second one, the, what was it called, Mouth of Madness, or I can't remember, the Universal Madness, I think it's gonna be called, on Doctor Strange 2, and he had creative differences because he wanted to go more dark on more into more of a scary movie, and he ended up stepping down because of creative differences with Kevin Feige, which is kind of funny now that What If is out. And if you watch the Doctor Strange episode 1, that got really dark, and it was pretty much a horror film. I think that's weird. And then you got the episode where they all turn into zombies and stuff. I mean, these are scary movies kind of things, and Doctor Strange had in a lot of his stories in the comics had that horror film elements as well as sci-fi and stuff. I don't understand why Kevin Feige and Scott Derrickson couldn't, settle on something. Yeah, you want it to be a family thing, but to me, I think they should just went a little. They could go a little dark with Doctor Strange. But yeah, after Dennis said this, of course, Twitter and social media, started criticizing him and his movies, or there was some people that was defending him, like I am, taking shots at Marvel. Let's kind of go and look at some of these Twitters. So not completely. So here's Neil Blomkamp, who is the director of like District 9 and Chappie. Or is it Clappy? I can't remember. I'm the robot guy. Yeah, he's like, what a fucking asshole. Okay, I don't know. I mean, okay, dude. District 9 wasn't all that great of a movie. It was actually supposed to be the Halo movie. For some reason, they couldn't get the rights for it, so they changed it into a documentary, and then they just came up with some. I think he was supposed to be a report on going to his alien resolve thing, and then he slowly became an alien himself. It wasn't a bad movie. I just don't like that documentary style of filmmaking. I think that's stupid, and I'm going to look down on it. Doesn't matter how good the movie really is, I'm going to look down on it if it has that documentary style. Chappie, I never even watched that because I didn't think it was all that great. But here's one guy saying, Dennis is not completely wrong. I like watching Marvel films, but it is often the same thing, and the directors are often yes men, or when there is a good director behind the camera, he is completely blamed. So like, and I completely agree with this Paulson here. You know, I like a lot of the Marvel movies, but yeah, it just, I think it kind of goes back to like Star Wars. You know, Rian Johnson was definitely a yes man who just did whatever Kathleen Kennedy and the story group, the Lucasfilm story group did, and completely thrown out, you know, what J.J. Abrams set up. And then you got Colin Trevorrow who came in, his script had Luke Skywalker in it and stuff, and Snoke, and like he tried to rewrite it, but he's like, no, this is my story. I want it to be like this. And Kathleen Kennedy like, nope, you're gone. And a whole bunch of different directors that Kathleen Kennedy or Lucasfilm got rid of. The guys who originally did Solo, Game of Thrones creators, they were supposed to make a Knights of the Old Republic trilogy. They fired them. I think this article itself is really more against Dennis than with him. He has said something before about it as well, not too long ago. He says like they all the same, they the same mold from the same factory, and like I said, it really is. He is correct on that. And like I said, they have a specific style, a specific way, you know, stories that they want you to do, and you can't go outside of that. And so and well, see how things is. Marvel right now, I'm not really interested in really anything from Marvel. Venom will be coming out very soon, but that's not part of the MCU part. I think there's rumors that they're trying to get it to fit into that universe, maybe a Spider-Verse type of thing. I know the newest Spider-Man movie, No Way Home, I think it's called, supposed to have like that Spider-Verse thing, gonna have Tobey Maguire Spider-Man in there, Andrew Garfield Spider-Man into it as well. So that's gonna be cool. I think that's gonna be really cool. I've never been actually interested in Tom Holland's Spider-Man. I just don't see the appeal of him. I didn't really care for him in any of the MCU movies. Like, was it Civil War he came in, and Infinity War and Endgame he was in, and I didn't like the whole like, oh my god, you guys seen that really old movie Empire Strikes Back? Oh my god, you guys seen that really old movie called Aliens? And just, yeah, Tom Holland is a great actor, but I just don't like his Spider-Man. And like, I've seen so many other Tom's movies, and they all been great, and he did great acting in them, but I just don't like his Spider-Man. But other than that, I'm not really excited for any Marvel movies coming out, because they, like I said, they are pretty much the same. They are cut and paste pretty much, and I am looking forward to Moon Knight and Blade. Unfortunately, they're only gonna be Disney Plus series, so hopefully we get them as movies and stuff. Those two of my favorite Marvel characters from the comics, and like Blade with Wesley Snipes was such a great movie back in the day, and make sure to, if you haven't already, subscribe. We will be doing a review of Doom when it comes out. Make sure you don't miss that. And let's go on to do the recap of the Apple event. Alright, so here's the Apple recap of the September event. So the first things up was new iPads. So you got the first one is the iPad 9th generation. And it gets the A13 Bionic chip, which is a very powerful chip. And, ever since the A12 chip came out, it's been like overpowered for it. So this is actually a very good upgrade. And it says that it is 20% faster. The front camera gets a 12 megapixel ultra lens and gets center stage. There's some feature that kind of uses the wide camera and then it crops it down a little bit, and so it can follow you. So if you're having to move a lot in your video, it will kind of follow you around, and so that'd be perfect. Like, I know people talk about like a cooking show, you got the table and you're moving around getting the ingredients and pots and pans and stuff. That way you kind of have your own little camera guy with you, or you're doing an unboxing video and you gotta move around, or any type of thing. And it works on video calls as well, so FaceTime and 329. And then of course you get this is a perfect, the regular iPad is perfect for school, so you get a school discount. What I think was the biggest new thing at the Apple event and star of it was a new iPad mini redesign. You can see where it doesn't have the home button anymore, so it's almost edge to edge screen. It went from a 7.9 to an 8.3, which is great. My sketchbook is about that size, so this would be great for artists and needing something small, sketch everything out. This one has the A15 chip, which is CPU is 40% faster, GPU is 80% faster. It got rid of the Lightning port and got the USB port. We talk more about that. 5G, I don't really care about 5G. They got updated 12 megapixel cameras on the front and the back, it seems like, and it got also the center stage support, and it got the 2nd gen Apple Pencil support, which is really awesome. I wish it showed the slide. But yeah, this is like the iPad Air that's almost like the iPad Pro 11 inch. I'm really considering to buy this. This is a great, I do need a new iPad. Mine iPad Pro is a 1st gen, so it's overdue for an upgrade, and this is a lot cheaper. It did bump up $100 more, basically 500 to you spend 400, now it's 500. But to me, because all these extra features and stuff, and like, to me, I think it's worth it. And I really wish it came with like a smart keyboard case. I guess since it's so small, and Apple didn't think people use a keyboard, but it is 8.3. I mean, that's not too much smaller than what the 9.7 iPad was. This one, it used to be 9.7, now it's 10.2. It had a keyboard there. But yeah, the iPad mini was awesome. That no one expected that. All the leaks thought that it was gonna be in a different event, but ended up not being this event. I kind of wish that it was the one more thing like Steve Jobs always did. This would be the one more thing, and just pull it out of your pocket. And Apple Watch, it's slightly has a slightly bigger screen on it. That was it. It changed to USB-C cable, so it's now got fast charging. More on that on the USB. So new iPhones, the iPhone 13. So iPad mini gets a A14 Bionic chip. Apple claimed that Android phones were the competitor is like 3 years behind. I have seen the newest Samsung Galaxy, the Ultra 21 Ultra or whatever it's called. that just came out, those are really powerful. So I'm not quite sure it's 3 years behind. Maybe 1 year, 2 is debatable, but I don't think it's 3 years behind. And one really cool thing, this is on all the new iPhone 13, is cinematic mode. It gives your videos what called a rack focus. So you know how in movies where the actor that's in front or closest to the camera is in focus, but the actor in the background or whatever in the background is out of focus, like it's blurry in the back. That's what it does. And of course, like Apple made it look way much better than it probably would be in the presentation, but I think this is awesome. Did a little short film called Who Done It, one of those like model mystery, the butler did it kind of thing, and it just showed a detective looking for clues and stuff, and it looked a lot like Rian Johnson Knives Out. It was really cool, and I think that was like the coolest thing with the new iPhones. It's funny because like all these YouTubers, when they talk about the Apple event, they get to cinematic mode, they're all like, oh well, I don't know who this is for. You know, parents ain't gonna do this while taking video of their kids at the beach or something, you know, on vacation and stuff. Like, no, I don't think they will do that. That's not who it for. And then the YouTube will be like, oh, and like my camera already does it and does it way better than the iPhone can do it. So I don't understand who this is for. Now, there's 3 YouTubers I watched that all said that same thing. But here's the thing, these 3 YouTubers use the exact same camera that Joss Whedon used for The Avenger, one of the biggest movies of all time. If it's good enough for that, well, hell yeah, it's gonna be better than any smartphone can do. I swear these YouTubers are so out of touch. I tell you who this cinematic mode is for that little kid that I saw when coming out of just watching the Avengers Endgame and telling his parents how that was the coolest thing he ever saw and that he wants to grow up to be a filmmaker. This is who that for. You know how many times we hear directors said that they was 8 years old when they went and watched Star Wars back in 1977, and after leaving the theaters they begged their parents for a Super 8 camera, you know, so they can make their own Star Wars and stuff. That's who this is for, because more likely those parents will buy them an iPhone, especially like the iPhone mini, which is the cheapest one, and it has that cinematic mode on it and has a lot of the upgrades that all these the higher end phones are getting. So that's who it's for. I thought it was the coolest thing ever. But yeah, there's so many cool things. It got ProRes and photographic styles, kind of like this it's live filters. It's really cool. Finally got the ProMotion 165 refresh rate, so make everything just seem smoother and faster, and gonna be great for playing games, bunch of other stuff. And I really hope this means that we be getting Apple Pencil on the iPhone. A lot of people were saying that we wouldn't get the 2nd gen Apple Pencil on the iPad mini because you had to attach it to the side for it to charge, and yet it was able to charge it just fine. And really the charging part is actually kind of small. It doesn't take up the whole pencil. Isn't there's a small part in there that actually charged, so I think it could probably fit on like the iPad Pro Max. So the ProMotion is only on the Pro iPhones, which is understandable and stuff. I won't be getting one, even though I love the cinematic mode and the ProMotion and a bunch of other things on it, but maybe iPhone 14 I might get. Hopefully it got the Apple Pencil. Will we catch you next time for the Star Wars Vision one? Also, thank you so much for all your support. We finally got to be monetized on here on YouTube, so we just want to say thank you for that, and we see you next time.